welcome to Mary Makes. I'm Mary and today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this cute little chicken. Look at that. This chicken was the last commission I took, and it was a really fun commission because my client was somebody who raises chickens, and I got to ask them all sorts of questions like, why are some chicken eggs brown and white, and like, what is this bit called and what's that bit called? The bit on top of a chicken's head, that's a comb, and this little bit by its beak, that's called a wattle. Anyways, here's how we're going to crochet this chicken. We'll crochet the body first, and then we'll crochet each of the parts separately: the beak, the wattle, the comb, the wings, and the little feet. And then we'll sew them all on. And I know that sounds like a lot of sewing, but I promise it's not that bad, and it makes a really cute chicken. Personally, I feel very strongly about sharing the joy that I get from crocheting with all of you, which is why I make all my patterns free and into these YouTube crochet along tutorials. With that said, I would just like to take a second to advertise this 6-page PDF I made of the printed pattern that's available on my website, link it below in the description. This PDF pattern includes the accompanying pattern for the chicken nest and eggs, and the chicken fits like really nicely in its little nest. So if you'd like to support my work and you enjoy these videos, please considering purchasing the paid version of this pattern. The free version and this video will still show you how to make this chicken though. So with all that said, let's get started. Here are the supplies that you'll need to crochet this cute little chicken. First, you'll need size 4 worsted weight yarn in white. I've got here today, I love this yarn in white, but you can use any other color. I mean, maybe you want a brown chicken or something, but I just have kind of a lot of white yarn. You'll need just about 20 grams for the chicken, maybe 22 or 23 grams to be safe. You'll need yellow yarn. I've got here a ball of Red Heart with Love. You really only need like 2 grams. It just makes the beak and the feet, like this makes it a great little stash buster. You'll also need a little bit of red yarn for the comb and the wattle. This is also Red Heart with Love yarn, and you'll also only need about 2 grams of this. You'll need a pair of size 8 safety eyes and the accompanying back. Just remember that safety eyes are not really safe. They can pop out. I've never had an issue with eyes coming out of my pieces, but I just want to put it out there to name that risk that they are a choking hazard. You're going to need a size 4mm crochet hook. You'll need a yarn needle. I've just got a blunt tip steel needle here. You'll need scissors, of course, a stitch marker, and stuffing. You can pick up all of these materials at your local craft store, or you can check out my Amazon storefront for some of these items. If you do make a purchase there, I do earn a commission. So let's get to it. So let's start baking the body. Take your white yarn and in your left hand or your non-dominant hand, hold the dead end of the yarn and wrap it around your finger so that you have a loop with the live yarn on top. Take your crochet hook facing the floor, insert it into the hole and grab the live yarn. And once your hook is through the hole, rotate it up towards the ceiling and then yarn over and pull through. And that is how you make the magic circle to start the chicken. So for round number 1, we're going to do 6 single crochet into the magic ring. So here's the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and 6th single crochet. Now take this yarn tail and just pull on it, and that closes up your magic ring. For round number 2, we're going to do 6 increases, 1 in each stitch. An increase is just 2 single crochets into a stitch. So into that first stitch, I'm going to come in here, work my first single crochet,
and then into that same stitch, I'm gonna work a second single crochet. So there's one increase, and then there's 2 increase, and then 3 increases. Here's my 4th increase, 5th increase, and 6th increase. So there is round number 2 completed. You should have 12 stitches in this round, and it's at this point that I can use the stitch marker. I just find the stitch marker a little cumbersome if you start using it right away in round number 1. But here we go. There's round number 2 completed, going on to round number 3. For round number 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, followed by an increase in the next stitch. And we're going to do that 6 times all the way around for a total of 18 stitches. So that was my second set. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, crochet and increase, and finally my last repeat single crochet, and I'm going to remove my stitch marker and increase. So now I can take my stitch marker again and put that into the last stitch. Oop. Going on to round number 4, we're going to do 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, followed by an increase, and we're going to do that 6 times for a total of 24 stitches in this round. So 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, increase, and 1, 2, increase. And here is my last repeat. I'm just going to take out my stitch marker. 1, 2, and increase. So there is round 4 completed. You should have 24 stitches in this round. Going on to round number 5, I'm just going to quickly put my stitch marker back in here. For round number 5, we're going to work 3 single crochet. So 1, 2, and 3, followed by an increase. And you're going to do this 6 times all the way around for a total of 30 stitches in this round. Increase. Okay, 1, 2, 3, increase, 1, 2, 3, and increase, 1, 2, 3, increase, and here's the last repeat. 1, 2, 3, and increase. All right, so that is the end of round number 5. You should have 30 stitches in the round. For the next rounds, rounds 6 through 10, you're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around for a total of 30 stitches. You're going to do round 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, so that's 5 rows. I'll meet you back here at the end of round 10. All right, so here is round number 10 completed. I have my stitch marker in the last stitch of round number 10 here. If you lost count, that is okay. I'm going to show you really quickly how to count your rows. I always look for the first row where we started with our 6 single crochet in the magic ring. And then if you can see right, I'll grab my yarn needle, right here where we started this increase for round number 2. This tells me that this is the start of round number 2, and therefore this is the end of round number 2. So when I see this here, I know to count my rows. I can say that's round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally 10 there. So anyways, going on now to round number 11. In the first stitch, you're going to do 1 single crochet. Then you're going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. And then in the second chain from your hook, you're going to start working your single crochets. We're going to do 6 single crochet down the chains. And I like to put my single crochets in the back hump of the chain. So that way, when we are working on the other side of the chain, we have the front of the chain, which looks like a stitch to work into. So there's my first single crochet in the back hump, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then sixth. And then finally, in the same stitch as where we worked the first single crochet, we're going to work another single crochet in there. So that is what is going to start the spine, or not the spine, I guess. Yeah, the spine, like the back of our chicken here. And then we're just going to continue crocheting around, and it gives this chicken the, this, I don't know, protruding butt shape. So that was in the first stitch of round number 11, we did 1 single crochet, 7 chains, and then 6 single crochet down the chains, and 1 more single crochet in the same stitch. To finish round number 11, we're going to just work 29 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. So I'll just do that with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and finally our 29th single crochet in our last stitch. So I took my stitch marker out, worked my stitch, and I'm going to put my stitch marker back in. That is round number 11 completed. Going on to round number 12, we're going to work 6 single crochet first. So just right into the next stitch. There's our first single crochet. 1, 2. This goes into the chain now, but they look just like regular stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now here at the end of the chain, we're going to do 2 increases. So increase here, which is, there's the first single crochet of my increase, there's the second one, and then in the next stitch we're going to do another increase. There we go. And then now we're going to do 35 single crochet to finish off the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and here's our last stitch, 35. So there is round number 12 completed. You should have 45 stitches in this row. So going on to rounds 13 and 14, they're really easy. You're just going to continue doing this, one single crochet in each stitch all the way around for rounds 13 and 14. I'll meet you back here at the end of round number 14. Okay, so I've just finished crocheting rounds 13 and 14. You should have like this almost igloo shaped right now for the chicken, for its head and like its back. Going on to round number 15, we're gonna work 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, followed by a decrease. Now I do an invisible decrease where I take my hook here and I put it through the front loop of the first stitch and then through the front loop of the next stitch, and then draw up a working loop and then finish my single crochet as normal. After your 6 single crochet and your decrease, you're going to work 1 single crochet followed by another decrease. Now you're going to work 9 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now you're going to work a decrease, then 10 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, followed by another decrease, 9 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally a decrease, which gets us to our end of the round number 15. You should have 40 stitches total in this round. I'm going to put my stitch marker back in here into that last stitch. For round number 16, you're just going to crochet 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around for a total of 40 stitches. I'll meet you back here once you're done with round number 16, and we will attach the eyes before we continue. So I'll see you back here at the end of round number 16. All right, here is the end of round number 16. You should have 40 stitches in this round. I'm going to take my crochet hook out and let's attach the eyes now. So we want our eyes to be placed on the front of the chicken here. So what I will have you do is, or what I like to do anyways, you don't have to do it this way, but I like to count out where my rows are and then use my needle to mark the center, and then put my eyes based on where this needle is. So as you can see, I'm kind of folding this chicken based on where this point we have created is, and then finding the center of the front. Now I'm going to use my yarn needle to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And between 7 and 8, I'm just going to stab my yarn needle there. And so I'm going to say that is the center of my chicken's face. And what we want to do is we want to place the eyes with 5 stitches in between. So if this is the center, each eye should be like 3 stitches out from the center. So I'm going to take my eyeball here from where my needle is, go out 1, 2, 3, poke that in there. Do the same on the other side, 1, 2, 3. And then just like count how many stitches you have in between. So with my eyes placed in here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stitches in between my eyes. And then go ahead and attach the backs to your eyes to secure them into place. All right, and there are our eyes attached. Let's continue on now to round number 17. For round number 17, we're going to start with 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to do a decrease, 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, another decrease, and now 13 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, followed by a decrease, 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, a decrease, and finally 9 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and take out my stitch marker, 9. Put my stitch marker back. So there's round 17 completed. You should have 36 single crochets in this round, or 36 stitches in this round, sorry. For round number 18, we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around for a total of 36 stitches. So I'll let you do that and meet you back here at the end of round number 18. Okay, so there is round number 18 completed. You should have 36 stitches in this round. Going on to round number 19, we're going to start closing up the chicken some more. So for round number 19, you're going to do 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4, followed by a decrease. And you're going to do that 6 times all the way around for a total of 30 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and decrease. 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 And finally, 1, 2, 3, 4. Take out my stitch marker and decrease. Oop. There we go. So that is round number 19 completed. You should have 30 stitches in round number 19. For round number 20, we're also going to have 30 stitches. You're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. And since it's only 30 stitches, I'm going to go ahead and just stay on the video with you as I complete round number 20. You really don't have to count as long as you're using a stitch marker, because that tells you where to stop. And while we're at it, if you're enjoying this tutorial and you like seeing these crochet alongs from me, please like and subscribe for more. It really helps the YouTube algorithm when you hit the like button. And leave me a note in the comments. How are you liking this chicken pattern? All right. Okay, so here are my last 2 stitches, and that is round number 20 completed. Put back my stitch marker. Going on to round 21. Now we are closing it up again. So in this round, we're going to do 3 single crochet followed by a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, and here's my decrease. You're going to do that all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. And last one, 1, 2, 3, and take out my stitch marker, decrease. So that is round 21 completed. You should have 24 stitches in this round. For round 22, we're going to continue decreasing. You're going to work 2 single crochet, 1, 2, followed by a decrease, and you're going to do this all the way around for a total of 18 stitches. So 1, 2, increase, or decrease, oh my goodness, 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2, decrease, and finally, let me take out my stitch marker, 1, 2, and decrease. So there is round 22 complete. I took out my crochet hook and I put my stitch marker back in. What we're going to do now is, now that our hole is pretty small, we're going to just pause here to stuff the body. Remember, when you're stuffing, just like take your time, make sure you're filling all of the spaces in the chicken well. Don't forget to stuff its butt here. Make sure stuffing gets into that little cavity. And then, oh, I need to go grab more stuffing. So I'll meet you back here when I am done stuffing this chicken. All right, so I've just finished stuffing my chicken with as much stuffing as I like. You know, if you want your chicken to be firmer, use more stuffing. If you want it to be squishier, use less stuffing. And now we are going to close up the body. Don't worry, there will still be opportunity to add additional stuffing as we close it up here. But for round number 23, we're going to decrease the round more. We're going to start with 1 single crochet followed by a decrease. And you're going to do that 6 times for a total of 12 stitches in round 23. So 1 single crochet, decrease. Oops. And I took out my stitch marker because I feel like it gets a little obnoxious when you're this close to the end. And then actually, if you are having trouble, I find that sometimes I just switch to the overhand or the, I don't know, caveman grip of holding my crochet hook so that I can get into the stitches a little bit easier. So single crochet and then decrease. Single crochet, decrease, and then that was my 5th one. Here's my 6th single crochet and decrease. So there's round 23 completed. You should have 12 stitches left. And I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now I am going to finish closing off here. Actually, yeah, I think I'll stuff just a tad bit more stuffing in here. It's a good time for you to do that if you want to add a teeny bit more in there. For round number 4, we're just going to work 6 decreases to close it up. So here's my first decrease, second, third, fourth, and then 5th. And I know these last stitches are really tricky, so do just take your time on these to get into the stitches. And then finally, here's my 6th decrease. I'm going to go ahead and cut off my yarn, giving myself a bit of a tail to sew. I'm going to take my hook and just pull the yarn end through like that. And then at this point, if you really want to get more stuffing in there, you can, but I am pretty happy with how with the firmness / squishiness of my chicken is. So I'm not going to add any more stuffing. You're going to take your yarn needle and thread it. A fast way to thread it is to take your yarn, take your needle, push it up like this, pinch the yarn. Once you have your yarn pinched, you can take your needle hole and push the yarn through the hole like that and thread it easily. To close up the chicken, I'm going to take my yarn needle and I'm just going to work the next stitch over. I'm going to pick up just the front loop like that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this now will pull together kind of like a drawstring, and then I will just go maybe for two more loops And I usually at this point, I'll just tie a knot right here. So that knot will prevent the yarn from sliding through all of those loops that we just threaded it through. I'll even tie 2 knots. Ooh, so it really won't go through. And then I'm just gonna send the knot back into the chicken by taking my yarn needle and stabbing it through the same hole where it's coming out. And just make sure that knot gets pulled inside of the chicken. And then you can cut off your yarn tail and bury the end. And ta-da! We have just finished our chicken body. Woohoo! All right, so now let's go ahead and go on to making all of the little parts for the chicken. Let's start with making the beak. So for the beak, take your yellow yarn, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the magic ring again. So remember, take the yarn end in your non-dominant hand, loop your live yarn so that it's on top of the dead end. Make your magic ring. And then for the beak is really small, but you're gonna do 6 single crochet in the magic ring for round number 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm gonna close the magic ring now. For round number 2, you're gonna do 1 single crochet in each stitch for a total of 6 stitches. So there's my first stitch, second, third, fourth, and then 5th and 6th. And then after I finish the 6th single crochet, I'm just gonna pop it out like so, so that the front of the stitch is facing us. And then what we'll do for the beak is we're gonna slip stitch to the next stitch, and then I'm just gonna cut a tail and then pull through to fasten off. Whoops. All right, so there's the beak completed. Let's make our other parts and then we'll sew them all onto the chicken. So take your red yarn now, and we're gonna make the wattle. The wattle is the little bit that hangs off of the chicken's beak. Make your magic ring, and then in your magic ring, you're gonna do 4 single crochet. It's a very tiny red piece. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull to close the magic ring. For the wattle, we're not going to do a full second round. What we're going to do is we're just going to work 2 additional single crochet to give it its shape. So here's my first single crochet, and here's my second single crochet. And then I'm going to pause here to pop it out so that it has that little, like, nice, I don't know, the front of the stitches up there. And then just like the beak, I'm going to slip stitch to the next stitch and then cut myself a tail, leaving room for sewing, and then pull through to fasten off. So there's the little wattle. I will say, if this is too obnoxious to make, don't worry about it. What you can do is you can just take your red yarn later and just like embroider a little bit of red on the side of the beak. But going on to the comb now for the top of the chicken's head. There's many ways to do like a comb on top of a chicken's head. This is just the way that I chose to do it. You're going to start with a slip knot on your crochet hook, and you're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And in the second chain from your hook, we're going to single crochet. So for this one, I don't need to go into the back hump of the chain, I'm just going to go right into it. In the second chain from your hook, you're going to do a single crochet, a half double crochet, and a single crochet all in one stitch. And then in the next stitch, you're just going to slip stitch. And that is like one bump of the comb. In the next stitch, we're going to do the same. Single crochet, half double crochet, and then a single crochet again. Then slip stitch to finish the second bump in the comb. And then finally do it again for the third bump. Single crochet, and then a half double crochet, and then single crochet in the same stitch, and finally slip stitch in your very last chain to finish off the comb. So that makes ourselves a really cute little comb that we will attach to the head. So now we're done with the red yarn. See, we really didn't need very much to make the comb and the wattle. While we're here, I'm going to show you how to make 1 foot and 1 wing, but obviously you should make 2 feet and 2 wings. For the feet, take your yellow yarn. You're going to make a slip knot, put that on your hook. What we're going to do is we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And for the foot, I do like having the crochet V's on the outline of the foot. So we are going to slip stitch into the back humps. So in the second back hump from your hook, so not this first one here, but this second one, you're just going to insert your hook, drop a loop, and then pull through to do that slip stitch. Do it again. So there's like the first toe of our chicken. Now we've got chain 3 and slip stitch 2. We're going to do it again to make another toe. So chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And again, just slip stitch into the second hump and do a second slip stitch. There's that second toe. And then do it again, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 2 slip stitch. Oop. Come on now. Okay, there we go. 1 slip stitch and 2 slip stitch. So there are your 3 toes, and then to close it off, I'm just going to slip stitch into the very first stitch of the foot. And there's our cute little foot cut off, leaving a little tail for sewing. And go ahead and make a second foot. Now we're going to make the wing. So take your white yarn. You're also going to make a slip knot and put that on your hook. What you're going to do is chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then starting in the third chain from your hook, you're going to do 4 half double crochets. So I will work in the back humps for this one because I think I like the chain look on the outside. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there is the first round of the wing. You have 4 half double crochets and your chain 3 that counts as 1. What you're going to do now is chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to turn your work. What we're going to do is starting in the third chain from your hook, you're going to make 2 half double crochets in those 2 chains. So yarn over, insert your hook into that third chain from your hook, complete the half double crochet, and do it again. There it is. So there are my 2 half double crochets into the chain, and then 4 half double crochets just into the stitches here. So there's our 6 half double crochets in round number 2. For round number, before we get to round number 3, go ahead and chain 2 and then turn. And what you're gonna do is just do 6 half double crochets all the way across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm gonna do now you're gonna do a chain 2, 1, 2, and then just slip stitch into the bottom of that stitch, kind of to just round out the wing. And then give yourself a little tail for sewing as you pull through that slip knot. So yeah, there's one wing. Go ahead and make a second wing and a second foot, and I will meet you back here to sew these all onto our chicken. All right, I've just crocheted my second wing and my second foot. Let's go ahead and start sewing them onto the chicken. I know this looks like a lot of parts to sew onto this body, but I promise you it's not that bad. Start with your beak piece. I'm gonna take the yarn coming out of the inside of the beak. I'm gonna thread that first, and I'm actually just going to use this yarn and just stab it approximately where I want the beak, and I'm gonna send it through. This I like doing this with the yarn that is used to make the magic circle, just because it helps me like anchor down the beak, and then I can focus on what stitches I want to use for sewing the beak down. So now that I've got this yarn end out of the way, I'm going to take the other end, and I'm going to start from the bottom, and I'm just going to sew the beak onto the face. I don't really do anything special when I sew. I go into and out of a stitch. I grab one of the stitches of the beak, and then I go back down the same stitch I came up and go out another stitch, and I'll get that sewn on here. There's my third stitch of the beak sewn on. So if it helps when you're planning out where to place your stitches, the beak only has 6 stitches, so you only need 6 holes to go in and out of. All right, and whoop, there is the last stitch. Then I'm just gonna go out somewhere else so I can double check I like it. Yes, I like this beak. It's just like right in the middle. Oop. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna send my yarn back through. I'm going to come out the same hole where my other yellow yarn end is, and I'm going to use the yarn end to tie these ends together, kind of secure them. And then I'm just going to tuck the knot back into the body. So thread both ends now, stab your yarn needle through the hole where they're coming out, and come out somewhere else. And that effectively hides the tail in there, and you can just cut the excess and just bury the tails like that. So there is the beak sewn on. Let's go ahead and sew on this wattle next. Just like with the beak, I'm going to take this tail that we have from making the magic circle, and I'm going to use this tail to kind of help me position where I want the wattle. I'm just going to stab the beak right here and send my red yarn through somewhere else, and that'll help me hold down the piece while I get the other yarn end. And I am going to just sew this on. The wattle, we only have 4 stitches, so I'm really just attaching it to like 4 stitches underneath the beak. So I'm gonna go in here and out there for my first stitch. Grab one of my red stitches. Now I'm going to go in and out of this yellow stitch. Grab my next red stitch. Then I'm going to go into and out of this other yellow stitch here that's kind of in between the yellow and white one. Grab my last stitch. And then I'm finally going to bring it back home to the same hole that I started in. Get my yarn needle through there. I'm using a really big yarn needle for this yarn. And then get my last stitch and send it back through. So there, I sent the yarn end back through to where my other red yarn end was coming out. And ta-da! Now you have a little tiny wattle attached to your chicken's beak. That yarn end didn't get buried all the way. Just like before, I'm going to take my red ends, tie a knot, send the ends through to somewhere else. And cut off the excess. Careful with your red yarn. Depending on the quality of your white yarn, you might see your red yarn poking through. The white yarn I'm using is pretty thick, so you don't see it as much. Just a word of caution there. So there's our beak and wattle. Let's go ahead and sew our comb on. I'm just going to thread my yarn needle. So with the comb, I'm going to start in the back of the chicken's head and then sew it forward. I'm aiming for this, the center of where we started our chicken, the center of round number 1. I'm aiming for that to be where I sew the second hump of our comb to, so that it sits right there. So keeping in mind that that's where I'm aiming to have my second hump, I'm just going to go back. This is where I'm going to attach the slip stitch. This is going to be where I attach the third hump. And so this is where that last slip stitch should go. So I'm just going to come into this stitch. I'm actually just going to come at it from the side. Yeah, I'll come at it from the side. And then I'm going to come through that stitch. So there's my slip stitch secured. I'm going to go through that same stitch and up the next one. And now I'm going to grab that stitch of the wattle there, or sorry, the comb there. All this chicken terminology. And I'm going to go up through my next stitch. Grab the next stitch of your comb and then go back down, and then I'm going to come up the center of round number 1, and then see how now, because I planned it out, I'm going to grab the stitch of my middle comb and oops, split my yarn there, so let me pick up that fiber and send that back down the same hole and move forward. And whoops. Okay, there we go. And we're just going to continue doing this, grabbing the stitch from the comb and going back through the forehead and going forward and securing the comb to the top of the chicken's head. And voila! There is the comb attached to the chicken's head. Now that it's attached here, I'm just gonna take my yarn needle, send it all the way back to the end here where we had our first stitch. I'm actually just going to knot it to my other yarn tail and then bury the knot and the tail inside of the chicken. So there's my knot. Thread my needle with both of the yarn ends and send that back through the same hole. And then pull it enough so that that knot goes through the chicken there. Cut off the red yarn and just bury that tail. Okay, so excellent. We've got the chicken's beak, wattle, and comb attached. Now, next, let's go on to the wing. I'm just gonna take the yarn end of the end of where we made the wing, and what I like to do is just position the wing kind of to the side. I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Between rows 13 and 18 is where the front of the wing should sit. And so the back of the wing should be attached to the body about here. And I'm just gonna come through, sew a couple stitches in. To attach the wing. And then I'm gonna move my yarn needle to the front here so I can make sure that the front of the wing is sewed down. We'll just grab that stitch. Oops. No, I hate when that happens. Gotta rethread my needle. Okay, so there's the front of my wing attached. And then all I'm gonna do actually is I'm just gonna send my yarn needle out to where this other yarn end is showing. So that way I can just tie them together like that. And then I'm just gonna send both of these yarn ends down to be tucked in. And then boom, there's one wing attached. We pinched it here at the end of the wing. We attached it fully at the front. And then now I'm just gonna bury the yarn tails. Now I'm gonna do the same for the other wing. Man, that red yarn tail, see, you can kind of see it poking through. You won't see it once I put this wing on top of it though, so there's that at least. And then since I'm looking at my second wing, I'm just gonna look at my chicken's butt and just kind of double check that my wing tips are like in the same spot. So I lined it up where I wanted it to be, Now I'm just going to do a couple stitches to make sure it stays where I want it to be. Actually, yeah, I do want to kind of attach it up here. And then finally, I'm going to move this to the front up here. Maybe just here. And then attach so the wing like so. Just going straight in through a stitch and back down. Nothing that fancy. And then just like the other wing, I am just gonna come out through near where this other yarn end is so that I can tie them together and tuck them both away. See, that's not so bad, doing all this sewing. And then take my white yarn and bury that in. All right, all we have left now is to sew the feet on. With the feet, you want to decide on the 4 holes you're going to place your feet. So if you can imagine like a diamond shape for the holes, what we're going to do is we're going to start in this hole, sew a toe this way, come back to this toe, sew a toe going up, come back to this point, and sew a 3rd toe that way. It'll make sense as I do it with you, but let me thread my yarn needle here. So coming to the bottom of the chicken, I am going to use this stitch for, I guess, the heel of my chicken's foot. And then I'm going to go out to this stitch, come back here, go up 1, come back here and go out 1. So, and I just arbitrarily decided that this was where the heel was going to go because it's not that far from where we closed up the chicken. So going out here, coming in there, this will attach the heel to there. I'm going to come up one of the toes, and then I'm just going to go back down here and into that same hole, and then I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to come through that 2nd toe, do that again where I'm just going down to that hole and coming up through my 3rd spot for my 3rd toe, go through the toe, and then come back down here. And then for this one, I'll just send my yarn needle all the way out here. And then boom, there is the chicken foot sewn on. I'm going to take my other yarn end for this foot, and I'm also going to send it down and out the same hole as that other foot so that I can knot these 2 ends together. See? Sewing's not that bad. I mean, I can totally see that if you like are looking at this and you're like, man, I don't want to do all that for the foot. Like what you can also do is you can also just embroider on, like just take your yellow yarn and just like embroider your feet to the bottom of the chicken. You can do that too. I might be a little extra with my designs. Okay, and then finally the very last foot. Oh my gosh. And that's it. Once we get this foot on, you're gonna be all done with your chicken. So I'm just gonna do the same thing again. up through a toe, back down through the heel, up through the next toe, and down through the heel. Where is it? There it is. Then up through my third toe and down through the heel. I'm gonna come out somewhere else. Take the other yarn end to secure it. And ta-da! There is that foot. Attach this bit, or knot these two together. And then we're gonna send the knot through the body before we cut off our excess yellow yarn. Okay, so knots inside the body, cut off the excess yellow yarn, and bury in your tail. And boom! See, wasn't that like not as bad as maybe you thought it was? I know a lot of crocheters like hate patterns with a lot of sewing, but like look at these 3D little feet with the toes. Look at when your chicken sits here and you see these little toes. Ah, it makes it so cute. And this comb sits straight up. I personally think sewing all of these parts makes it so worth it. Oh, right, my camera's this way, so you're looking at like the top of my chicken. All right.
All right, that's it. You're all done. You made this wonderfully little cute chicken, and I hope you are so proud of the work that you did today. And remember that you are free to keep, give, make, and sell your chickens that you make. All I ask is that you credit Mary Makes with the design so that other people can find this free video tutorial and pattern. And one last plug for this cute little nest and eggs that go along with the chicken. Like this nest is empty, but like look at how well this chicken fits in this nest. So if you would like the pattern for the nest and the eggs, please check out the paid PDF on my website, link in the description. And thank you so much for crocheting with me today. Bye!